So we just released the Teleport app that lets any e-commerce site, whether it's TikTok Shop, Amazon, eBay, Shopify, Etsy, connect and use our giant print farm. So all you have to do is upload a model, and then when somebody orders that print, we will print and ship it to that customer. This is a really fundamental shift in how stuff is made, how products are made and delivered, because now you don't have to build a factory, you don't have to build a supply chain, you don't have to learn how shipping works. You just have to design a product and upload it. But it was really hard to build this, and it took a long time to do it. And we thought we would just pull back the curtain of kind of the mess and the journey of how to get here, to build an app that works completely across the entire internet and allows anybody to make anything and connect and access thousands of printers for free, because it wasn't easy. So starting off, when Slant 3D was started, our first premise was we have to get to mass production. We have to be scalable. None of this stuff matters if a part takes 3 weeks to arrive. Parts have to arrive in 2 to 5 days, that kind of thing. They have to be produced that fast as a warehouse would pick them. So when we started the company 5 years ago, we knew we would have to build a lot of machines. And in order to do that, we had to focus on mass production. We had to focus on reliability, quality control, the systems around it. Before we could print one item for some Etsy user, we needed to be able to print 100,000 items just affordably for a Fortune 500 client. And we spent the first couple of years doing that, focusing on how you make the machinery, how you make the systems, how do you build the factory that would be able to maintain this? Because again, if you don't have 1,000 machines, you can't support an app like Teleport. Because as soon as the users start coming in, you would be overwhelmed, and you can't invent systems fast enough to keep up with the growth of that. Things like our Etsy app grow at 5% a week. If we didn't already have thousands of machines around, we wouldn't be able to keep up with that growth. So it was really important that we first build enough machines so that when the apps were introduced and that scalability was activated, that all of the hardware was in place. So that was the first baseline of building Teleport. Once you have all those machines and the hardware is reliable and doesn't blow up every other day, then you have the actual control software itself. So our internal production system is called Kraken. Kraken controls all of our machines. It's in charge of scheduling, of machine selection, data analysis of the machines, and like troubleshooting of machines, that kind of thing. That system was necessary again as like building on top of it. If the factory doesn't work, the app would not work. So we had to get Kraken up to a point that was stable. We are on version 4 of Kraken right now. The very first version we made was based on a lot of open source software. Version 2, we created with a third-party software developer, and it was a failure. We literally got the project almost 90% complete, but they couldn't finish it. And after 6 to 8 months of working with it, we effectively fired them and started with a clean sheet because there were too many bugs in it. And they were outside of the company, so it didn't work. So we learned our lesson not to use external software developers to help with these projects. Version 3, we rebuilt again internally with our team. And then version 4 was released in 2024. But continually iterating on this. And version 4 was a radical upgrade from the previous 3 versions, just a whole architecture change and that kind of thing. But it took all the lessons from the first 3 of how do you operate a print farm in an effective way. No one else built print farm software that could operate machines at our scale. Many of them cap out at like 20 machines. They don't have good tracking or data analytics, all that kind of stuff. So we had to build that from scratch. So that was the next layer. You have the printers, then you have the control software. Then on top of that control software, if we want somebody outside in the world to be able to use our system, we need an API. So in 2023, we started building out the API and had initial releases of it to where anybody could access our print farm through the API. Upload a file, and we will print and ship it to the destination that you give to us and pay us the $1 for the printing of it. That API, some of the breakthroughs that we had on that were around slicing and like pricing of the part. Because 3D model analysis is very, very poor in general. We invented a way to effectively slice a part and analyze it in milliseconds. So as soon as you upload a 3D model, you get an instant price response. And that was the innovation on the API, so that it could actually be scalable and very fast. Because analysis of 3D models is generally very slow. And for an API or for any sort of software application, you don't want something that is very slow. There are some 3D models that can take up to 3 to 5 minutes to parse and evaluate. But again, even those are done in milliseconds now. So we built out the API, and that was the next layer. Now, this goes into like hiring of our team. My background is in robotics, so I was able to assist with initial softwares and that kind of stuff and continue to lead the teams on this. But in order to build a system this large, you have to build out a team. And we have worked through many different people. This is how to build a 3D printer management software, 3D printing API, 3D printing apps. These are very narrow skill sets that almost no one knows how to do. So our team had to be people who are very flexible and are able to deal with the failures along the way of how to do it. So we have brought on folks multiple times over the years, and some worked out and some didn't. But now we have a core team that really understands the problems that we're dealing with and how to solve them. And while most people focus on the product itself and like the evolution of the product, the evolution of the team over the last several years while we've been building out these apps has also been very important and certainly relevant going forward, because in order to maintain a piece of software this complex requires a really good team, and we have that. But anyhow, we finished the API in 2023, and then we immediately started building applications on top of it because, quite frankly, no one else was doing it. So we started building the Etsy plugin. And the Etsy plugin was difficult because Etsy itself did not have very good API support services or a very good API. There were things like they don't even have like web hooks inside of them, that kind of stuff. It was very difficult. But again, we worked through those problems and we built the first version of the Etsy app. And then we built the second version of the Etsy app. And then we built version 3 of the Etsy app. And we learned what was important in these. What was the user experience that was necessary for building a print-on-demand plugin where somebody uploads a file, matches it to a product listing on some e-commerce store, and has us print and ship for them. We were able to learn what our core stoppage is there. What is the utility? Is it actually useful? Is there product market fit there? That first Etsy app gave us a baseline proof that this would work. After that, we wanted to formalize it more. So we partnered with Shopify to create a Shopify plugin, and that was released here in 2024. The Shopify plugin helped to mature the team because Shopify is a very refined software platform. They're exclusively a software platform, and they helped us to elevate our overall development process in a way that Etsy didn't. Etsy was very tape it together, that kind of stuff, because they didn't allow any other options, where Shopify had very high stringency. And they had also just introduced their new API, and it was under-documented and very unclear. So our team, I'm certain that we were one of the very first applications built on top of their new API. And in doing that, it helped to stress test our API and be like, we're not providing this information through our API. We need to expand it. Otherwise, other developers can't use our API to build something useful because Shopify won't work if we don't add these other features. So there was this continuous feedback loop from the apps that we were building, improving our API and our own internal systems to, again, get really refined and continue to grow. However, this is where it started to get hairy. Shopify is a platform, Etsy is a platform. They each have their own rules. And with the plugins that you attach to them, they have their own rules for those plugins. Etsy is very difficult to work with because they do not communicate with their developer ecosystem at all. Shopify is better, but also ambiguous because they're so large that there's not enough information out there about what is required and what is expected. And they close off their platform so much that it's difficult to create a good user experience over there because your app is so walled off from information that it kind of needs that making it seamless and really a great experience is tough. This came to a head that we had the expectation at this point in time, after having finished the Shopify, that we were going to continue on down the list. And we're going to build a plugin for Squarespace, and we'll build a plugin for TikTok, and we'll build a plugin for Amazon, and so on down the line. That itched wrong. We knew there was a problem with that because it would be cumbersome for people because you'd have 5 plugins for your business, which just happen to be on different platforms, and you have to manage them all and all the rest of it. There was no single dashboard. It was just cumbersome, but we didn't know of any other way of going about it. At which point, Etsy kind of forced our hand. In October of 2024, Etsy released an update to their API where new users of plugins would no longer be able to forward along shipping information, which means that we could see that an order showed up, but the Etsy user would have to copy and paste shipping information into our app rather than having it sent automatically, as would be normal. They would have to ship it, paste it into our app, which means that they effectively ruined the Etsy app. That is an untenable user experience that we were not okay with. We built a patch for it to let new users work through it all, and existing users got to stay where they were, but Etsy effectively killed the reliability of the relationship. They screwed us super hard and basically made our app irrelevant to any new users. Because no actual real store is going to copy and paste over 100 orders every day to get shipping information over. This is a wildly weird action on Etsy, but it just reinforced in our mind that platforms are fickle gods and you cannot rely on them when building this type of software. Shopify itself also, there were limitations on what we could do with that app. We could not create the user experience that we wanted. So in doing that, we had to fully reevaluate our model. And an insight came through that these shipping services are able to access all of these e-commerce platforms. So if we could partner with one of them, then we would get all the e-commerce platforms and we would have a single portal that we fully controlled. And we started pulling at that thread. And all of the practice that came before, even though all of that stuff was basically being broken by Etsy and these platforms themselves, all of that experience culminated in Teleport. And Teleport let us hit the full vision of what we wanted to do. You could connect to any e-commerce store. You could upload a 3D model of any sort. And when somebody made an order from eBay, Amazon, whatever it happens to be, TikTok, we are able to print and ship to your customer for you, which means that you no longer have to have a factory. You don't have to find a warehouse. You don't have to figure out how to pack a box so it doesn't break in shipping. You don't have to know what the carriers are. You don't have to know what is the greatest 3D printer lately. We were able to create that entire experience in one seamless experience, to where an order comes through, you can match up a file, or that file will automatically be matched to it, and then we will print and ship that order for you. And that is a very simple statement, a very simple action of like, oh, an order showed up, print the item that goes with that order. Sounds simple, but it's taken years to get here to make sure that all of the systems are in place. Having thousands of machines to make sure the scale is there to support all the users. Knowing how to build an app so that users enjoy it. Knowing how to architect how it engages with the rest of the internet so that it's stable, reliable, and a platform that you all can rely on. Because we certainly want to avoid being the fickle god that will jack with your business at a moment's notice, as we have had to suffer through. And building out the team that's able to support it and build it and make it powerful. It has been a long road of lots of twists and turns and attempts. We've made a lot of mistakes along the way, but we're finally here. And Teleport is a step function difference in how stuff is made and distributed. You can make literally anything, from a spring to a woodworking tool to a lamp. And this has never been possible before, to where physical stuff can be designed and uploaded. And if people want it, they will buy it from you, but it will never exist until somebody actually orders it. And that is exceptional, because all the waste, all the transport, all the warehousing is now irrelevant. You don't have to build your own server farm to have a website now. You just have to build a website. You don't have to build your own factory to make a product now. You just have to make the product. And we are so proud that we got to be the first ones over the wire for this to make it possible. Because as we work on it, we think about like the kid in the dorm room who doesn't have any money. He's not going to buy molds or build a factory. He can't afford it. But he does have a laptop and a really good idea. And now he can actually make that idea reality and become a millionaire from it. And that's really exceptional, because it gives access to manufacturing in a way that's never been possible before. But hopefully that was a little bit of insight as to how the winding road that it took to actually build Teleport, the most reliable and most comprehensive 3D print on demand app ever created. Have a great day, everybody.